Friday Live, and today Mars is actually colliding with the North Node in Pisces, and the universe is hitting the accelerator for us here, and this is all about ultimate destiny. It's not the first time we've talked about destiny points, and it's not going to be the last either. So today we're going to blend the astrological magic with the infinite magic of tomorrow, which is Pi Day, and we're going to decode exactly where you need to take action. Okay, so let's cut through all this retrograde fog because we still got that going on, right? And get our collective messages here now. All right, we've got sound, I do believe. Hello, hello. If you are joining, please say hi in the live chat. Drop a message. How are the energies for you today? We're going to be getting into some really interesting astrotarology today. So this is your sacred blend of the astrology transits, and we're going to be focusing on one today to really help hype up that destiny point, and then also tarot and oracle messages. So it's a great time. We have a lot of fun. Whew, let me just get oriented here. Sometimes I like to see if I can put up a question or something? Yeah, so, yeah, let's see. What sign are you representing today? What is your sign? Are you a Pisces? If you are, happy birthday to our Pisces tribe. Pisces tribe out there, happy birthday to you. Oh, good morning, Tressa. How are you? Is it sunny there? It's looking like it's going to be a bright and sunny day here. I had talked about in the last Astrotarology that I was getting the message about window cleaning, and it's a good time to clean windows. And now every time I look out the window, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need to clean the windows. Representing Gemini today. Awesome. Virgo. Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm representing Cancerian energies. Who else is on? Would you like to drop your sign? What's your sun sign? Drop it in the chat. Hi, Rebecca. Hello, how are you today? Welcome to Frequency Friday. We're going to be doing collective messages today for anyone who's interested in personal mini readings. I do those every other Sunday night here on the channel. The next one is on March 22nd. Okay, so mark your calendars. It runs from 7 to 8 p.m. Central. So if you'd like to come on, drop a question in the chat, get your own little personal mini reading, that is reserved for those Sunday evenings, okay? And the next one is on the 22nd. So hopefully you can drop by then. I do recommend if you really have that burning question or theme you want to ask, try to drop in sooner rather than later, because often I do run out of time and I don't get to everybody. So my nose is itching, the energies are moving. That's my sign. That's my sign when my nose starts really itching as I go on these lives. Azam, hello. Kahaloa. Ooh, that's a cool name. Hi. I probably didn't say it exactly correctly, but welcome, welcome to Creators on the Crest and to Frequency Friday. So today we're going to really be looking at a blend of astrology and tarot. We're going to do an oracle reading for the collective. We're going to also do some breakout tarot readings. And I'm going to talk a little bit first about the astrology going on. Let's jump right into the astrology. Now, today, the astrology transit that I really wanted to focus on, because there's always a lot going on in astrology, and I find it can be really, really helpful to break it down into bite-sized pieces, right? And so today we're going to look at Mars, the planet of Mars, conjuncting the North Node in Pisces. So in my intro, I said they were colliding because they're kind of coming together in the same area. That means they're upon each other or next to each other. Now, the North Node is a node. It's a point. It's not an actual planetary body. But these two, the North Node and Mars, are right together in Pisces. We are still in Pisces season as we go live today. Happy birthday again to all our Pisces crew out there. And so our emotional energy today, because we're in Pisces, right, is actually driven toward our purpose, our destiny, our desire, okay? And so it's a great time when these little transits happen, okay? And they're usually pretty fleeting. I mean, Mars is going to keep moving, but we've got a few days here to really be ignited into our soul growth. So I'd like to hear from you in the chat. What is growing your soul right now, or what are you journeying toward from a soul level perspective? Let me know in the chat, like, what are you feeling you're moving toward? And you could have some really profound feelings about that right now. Karen, good morning. Snowy and white today where you're coming from. Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice. It's been such interesting weather patterns, hasn't it? Astrologically and otherwise. But yeah, let me know, what are you journeying toward when you think about your purpose, your destiny? Because a lot of people struggle to define that for themselves. But what is it for you? And you know, a lot of other times our mind gets wrapped around it's something we have to achieve. Like there's some sort of arrival point. When we think about destiny, there's some sort of arrival point or some sort of like achievement. And then when I get that, then I'll be considered myself successful in that. But what we fail to recognize sometimes is it's a journey. So that's why it's not the first time we've talked about the destiny. Rebecca, almost your birthday. Yeah, and we're almost to Aries season. So are you kind of on the cusp there, Pisces and Aries? Interesting. I call Pisces is the woo and Aries is the do. So people who have a birthday kind of in this range, they're right on the verge of the woo and the do, and they usually can find a pretty cool balance for their soul purpose and how to execute that in reality. So yes, happy early birthday, everyone. Wish Rebecca happy birthday, happy incarnation day. Yeah, let me know in the chat. What are you working on? What are you working on in your soul's journey? Let me know. I know that's a big question. I know everybody kind of goes, you know, what am I working on? What am I working toward? And maybe the answer is, hey, right now, I'm just trying to create income, or I'm just trying to do this, or maybe the answer is I don't feel like I'm moving toward my destiny right now. I don't feel like I'm able to put a lot of energy into my purpose for other reasons, right? Because that's what we'll go into. That's what we're going to reveal today in these readings when we go through it. And my job here is to provide you all with a lot of different kinds of inspiration, right? Into how you can activate and maximize this energy. So that's my goal today, to kind of help. And that does involve clearing things sometimes. That does involve releasing things sometimes. So some of you may be feeling like, oh, I feel like the energies feel kind of heavy. I need to release something. And that's absolutely valid as well. Karen says, I feel like the strength of my marriage will help my children. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. What a beautiful thing to connect to. And you know, when we go into the breakout readings later, I decided to use Pi Day since it's tomorrow. So we're kind of doing two things. We're doing Mars conjunct the North Node, and that'll be kind of our oracle messages. And then our breakout tarot readings will be 314 infinity spread, representing 3.14 for Pi tomorrow. So I really wanted to blend in both. And so we'll get into the numerology a little bit, but that really, what you're saying really is reminding me of that fourth house energy, and that will be our third breakout reading of the day later on. And the fourth house is about home and family and the structure we put around that. And you're talking about your marriage, and that's beautiful because that's something that not everybody gets to have. I was feeling also some inner child kind of energy coming up today. So some of you may be really connecting with your inner child, whether it be from a healing standpoint or a destiny standpoint. Yeah, I'll be on for a while. Rebecca, we usually go about a couple hours here today. So you can come on or just leave it on if you need to go do something else. Okay, so I do want to give a couple more reminders and then we will go ahead and get into the oracle reading. But let me let me finish the reminders because I'm all over the place in case you didn't notice. I have a new schedule coming out next week here on YouTube for YouTube videos. So the long form astrotarology, and we're getting ready to do episode 10, I believe. That is going to be on Monday afternoon instead of Tuesday afternoon. So it's going to get bumped up by one day. On Wednesday, I'll have another long form, but it's going to be a shorter long form, and it's going to be more of a presentation, kind of educational, archetypal educational series, and we're going to begin that series with a journey through the major arcana of the tarot, starting with the 0 card, the Fool, and working our way through the major arcana. And then in addition to that, I will be going deeper into each one of those and offering the community access to a living vault where I will have some really powerful audio and engagement opportunities. So stay tuned for that. And all of that will be clarified for you and provided in the descriptions of those videos. We will continue Frequency Friday. So you will have a Monday video, Wednesday video, and Frequency Friday. And then the shorts will be on the weekends, and then every other Sunday we'll do the live Q&A. Other than that, in Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll be peppering in some community posts, so keep an eye on the community section here at Creators on the Crest. That is where I have the polls and reflective questions for the week, and they always go along with the themes that we're reviewing in our videos. So it's an exciting time and a new schedule coming along with the new moon and the spring equinox for the Northern Hemisphere that's coming up. So just watch for that. Okay, and today, when we're talking about Mars conjuncting the North Node in Pisces, just to give you all a time, it's going to happen at 4:57 p.m. Central. That's 5:57 p.m. this evening Eastern time. And so you may want to adjust all of that for your time zone, okay? Now, it happens at 8 degrees Pisces 55. And so a lot of you know I've been really studying the Sabian symbols. And when we use the Sabian symbols and something is happening between degree points, I have learned that you round up. You round up to the next degree point. So we go 8:55 goes to 9 degrees Pisces for the Sabian symbols. And some of you will recognize this. It kind of connects with the fire horse energy. And a few weeks ago, when the sun was conjunct the node, and we kind of talked about that burst of energy, it was at 8 degrees Pisces 59. So we also rounded up to 9. And the Sabian symbol is a jockey spurs his horse, intent on outdistancing his rivals. And if you remember, if you were around, I did talk about how we kind of feel that competitive spirit, and we may be somewhat competing or somewhat inspired to compete with an outdated version of ourselves or the old version of ourselves, or in some way, shape, or form, we're taking action, we're spurring that fire horse, we're getting on the move because we have completed a cycle and we're ready to go again. This is all connected to new beginnings as well. We're getting ready to transition into Aries season. So all of this is coming in on these cycles, right? And what's beautiful about the Sabian symbols is that they do work in a cyclic manner. I've been sharing one-off symbols with you as I'm learning myself too, but there are connections, there's cycles within cycles. So that's the beauty of studying astrology, really. And also, the archetypes of the tarot move in cycles as well. So it can be really interesting and very helpful for an individual to take this journey by learning both. And that is why I've been focusing so much on blending astrology and tarot, getting the best of both in an applicable way for your life. And that is where Creators on the Crest is headed. Okay. So I'm not Alex. I I'm not really going to get into like predictive stuff or one-off questions, but just because I like Tupac, I do not think Tupac is alive, sadly. Kind of wish he was. Um, but I don't think so. Very revolutionary, though. Love the spirit of Tupac. All right. So honor there, okay? Honor there. All right. Oracle reading. Today we're getting into the destiny drive, fueling your fated path. Okay. So this is why I asked the question in the beginning. What are you journeying toward? Do you have something in mind? Do you have a goal? Or are you simply kind of in the survival wheel? All right. And the first step is to really be honest with ourselves about where we're at. Okay. Unless we kind of know where we're at and have an awareness around that, it can feel like we're just totally spinning our wheels all the time. And sometimes it's surrendering into not knowing, right? We still have quite a bit of mystery going on, like how is this going to unfold for me? So I want you to think about personally, for each of you, I want you to think about what you really feel your purpose and your destiny is. And if the answer is I don't know, let's let that be. Let's not force ourselves to try to come up with something, right? Some of you may feel like, well, gosh, I have multiple purposes. I'm a multi-purpose person. I'm a mom and and I'm a practitioner, I'm an artist, or you might feel purpose-driven alignment in different areas. And sometimes those can really be utilized to complement one another. They can overlap. So there you have it. We're going to start with the Divine Animals Oracle today and get a message from the animals. So lots of different energies are kind of coming up, or needs, I should say, of the creators community for the Oracle messages today, starting with the animal totem here. So let's see which one wants to talk to us about our fated path, our destiny. Ooh, I really like this one. Very powerful. We got number 34. And so there's that 3 and 4 that are in our Pi Day numbers and going to be a part of our breakout readings later. 3 plus 4 is 7. We got I'll say willpower, because we got the tiger, and the tiger is the most powerful of cats. And I'll just let you have a look here at this beautiful card, which has a very bold and colorful leaping tiger, like in the foreground, and some very muted Indian, like an Indian goddess back there. God or goddess with all the arms. Wow, this is really reminding me this, when Mars conjuncts a North Node, we can feel a boost of energy. All of a sudden, we can feel like we have many arms and we're capable of doing things that on a normal day or any regular time, where this kind of conjunction isn't happening, where we can't get things done. You may feel like a powerful surge of energy, and you may want to ride that energy. The tiger I love for its power, for its uniqueness. And here we're kind of getting this really interesting kind of profile shot of the tiger and the rider. And then we're getting kind of this like ethereal spiritual thing going on in the background. This is a beautiful time. What I get from that, it's a beautiful time for you to exert your will force based on your soul and your spiritual endeavors, or what you know is important for you to move forward. Okay? So have any of you worked with the tiger energy before? Let me know in the comments. Sunset Bell, hello. Sunset Bell, I love that. I love that handle. And I'm also really just struck with the orangey golden colors there of the headdress that she's wearing. It's like flowing. And it's almost like the person is completely like blended with the tiger. There may be a little, this kind of reminds me of the strength card of the tarot because it's kind of like got a like the reins on it like a horse. This could be how you're wielding your power. Are you holding back on anything? Are you preventing that power from moving forward? What might it be for you? Let me know in the chat. Is there a way that you're feeling moved, or do you want to, right? Sometimes it starts with desire. Do you want to move forward in some way? And if so, what way is that? What way is that you'd like to move forward? And even if you don't know how that's going to unfold yet, what is the way that you want to move on this journey? You know, the will force, when we think about tiger and we think about the power and the will force of moving forward with something, of like acting upon something, our promptings, our soul promptings, it really is about an activation, and it's about a communication, which we're going to talk about later in the pie readings when we do the 3.14. All right, we're going to talk about that as well. So this is really like taking a look at that will force. Like, what do you have the energy and power to accomplish and to do that is aligned with your destiny, that's aligned with your soul purpose, right? Now, you may be, if you're one of those people who's in the place right now of like, I just don't know, can you at least open yourself up to the possibility, to it becoming known to you, to the universe putting it in front of you? And we're going to go to the Elemental Oracle next and see what other vibes we have going with this time and our destiny. Ooh. Oh, beautiful. So this is interesting because I'm getting a bit of Pisces energy here. So for our Pisces out there, we got number 29. 2 plus 9 is 11. So we have a beautiful master number. And the number's 1, right? We're going to do a breakout reading on the number 1 as well, 3.14 for Pi Day. So these numbers are kind of finding their way in today to the energy. And we have this beautiful, beautiful crone woman pictured here. And it says creation and water. Tressa says, I feel like I used to know my purpose, but it didn't work out. Yes. And, you know, sometimes we go through those cycles where we throw a lot at the wall and nothing's sticking, right? And it could just be a timing, because I know you put a lot of effort into what you did. So is it a timing thing? Is it like maybe you'll come back around to that in a different way at a later time? So if that was something that you shelved, but it's still important to you, you can still hold it in your heart as a possibility, right? Yeah, so sometimes we're in between. Sometimes we come into an incarnation being in between, working through one purpose and finding another, right? So sometimes it's not so clear-cut beginning to end for everybody, right? From the time that they're young, things change quite a bit. Some of us are meant to experience many different things or go through multiple cycles of this conversation, this purpose conversation, this destiny conversation. But I like this card a lot because I just feel like she's so open to the possibilities, as long as they're aligned with her peace. Look at all the doves there she's releasing. This crone energy, having an older woman pictured here, is very much just making me feel like wisdom, like valuing the wisdom that you've gained is so, so important, and opening yourself up to what the universe might have for you. But the stipulation here is that you want peace. So whatever it is, it has to bring you a sense of peace, or it's a no. Okay? Beautiful card. Love the hair. Love the little flower crown here. The peace of the doves exploding from her. And I think collectively, this is an archetype that is beautiful to embody right now in any way that we're able to, or even connect with, because this is the one that says, hey, there's nothing in this card about war and hate and violence. This is all about peace and love and alignment and harmony. And that's what's being demanded here by the feminine crone energy. This could really highlight for those of us that have kind of turned our mid-century corner, or we're upon that something new is opening up. But it's going to be on our terms, not the terms of the effects field and the way that things have played out, because that to us is unacceptable, right? We don't like what we're seeing out there with the violence. We don't like that those things are happening and the suffering. We are opening up to a new world. And this, by you aligning that with your personal purpose, even if you're not sure exactly what you're going for, you're still waiting for the cues from the universe. By aligning with peace and saying, universe, whatever this is, it must bring peace for me and for others, I think is absolutely a beautiful way to approach the energies and approach the unknowns. And maybe that's a bit where, oftentimes we talk about the question, does free will exist? So we're talking about fated destiny here, right? Was it predetermined? And I think the answer to, is there free will, is yes and no, both. Not a very satisfactory answer. I know myself, I'm like, I just, want to know. But in this case, I feel like the will force that came up with the tiger, the power to say, hey, creational energies, I'm a fractal of creation, and I want to be a part of something here, but it's got to be from a place of peace. I'm not having the violence. I'm not having the suffering. I'm not having the war. It's that no more energy that I spoke about in Astrotarology, one of the last couple episodes. They start to go together after a while. Let's turn to the Sacred Geometry Oracle. This is Sacred Geometry of Activations Oracle. So when we think about Mars, that very active, action-oriented planet, also the planet of war and anger, right? It's going to conjunct this North Node. I think it gives us the opportunity to say, hey, this is maybe the direction we've been taking things, and it hasn't been so helpful. So let's activate this beautiful willpower through peace, through peaceful actions, peaceful words, peaceful sharing, okay? And let's activate in a different way. Okay, let's activate in a different way. Absolutely. Okay. Ooh, and this is very connected in with the root chakra, okay? This is tribe. So here we have the willpower, the tiger energy, we have the peace. So we have kind of these active and receptive and feminine and masculine qualities. And here we have tribe, and it says the frequency of the root, the red flower, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as in the physical world. And we could look at this and we could say, wow, that does actually look like the planet Mars, the red planet, right? But we're also speaking about how to use these creation energies to use our connection to our purpose and destiny, even the journey of finding that, okay, if we're not quite sure what that is or it's changing for us, we can use that to anchor into this reality. And it's about sense of security. And when people feel secure and safe, that's where the creativity is really allowed to be unleashed. So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're moving through in the reality field. This is that dense, challenging effects field that we're moving through. And then on top of that, we have the layer of inversion energy, right? Which takes it all and inverts it and confuses it and is peppered with all of these lies and confusion. And so this is about reconnecting deep down with what we get most excited about, what we get passionate about, and how that's connected to our connections to tribe and the world, to family, to our ancestors. There we go. That's the word that wanted to come out. Ancestors is coming up here. Very interesting. These energies are beginning to move in different ways, you know, and the ability to have empowerment and exude and align your will force with your creative power, yet being able to do that in such a peaceful way and to spread love and harmony and peace on the planet is like, wow, that's the goal, right? Don't we want that? Don't we want a peaceful, creative world? I know that's what Pisces energy wants. It has that level of compassion. It's a beautiful opportunity for us to steep ourselves in these beautiful energies. Let's get a little shamanic. Speaking of Pisces, let's go to the Shaman's Dream Oracle here and see what the shamanic energies would like us to say. So when we think of shamanic energies, I always think it's like the connection between the creation realms, the higher realms, and this physical playground, 3D reality that we are moving in. Hi, James. This is collective readings today, but on Sunday, March 22nd from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Time, I will be live doing live Q&A on the channel. Every 2 weeks, I do that every other Sunday evening, 7 to 8, and you can go in the live section and see some of the past ones. You just drop your question in and you get a mini reading. But today we're reading for everyone, for the Creators Collective. I do encourage people to stick around because sometimes your personal focuses actually do get answered through some of the cards. So you may end up feeling like there are some messages that come through that are very much what you were going to ask your question about, okay? All right, we've got number 20 here from the Shaman's Dream Oracle, Feast of Plenty, Choices and Their Consequences. So let's just have a look at this card for a moment because there is a lot going on here. We have not just one, it kind of like gives me a sword and a stone vibe, but it's like two swords in the crystal. And then there's like the crystal ball, but then crystals growing out. We have a bee, like a honeybee, like a productivity. And to me, this is really speaking to the energy of, are we really connecting our daily choices, our weekly choices, our monthly choices, our choices for our life to the consequences, whether those be enlightened, bringing light to the world, or whether they be shadowed or not as bright, or maybe dulling ourselves, right? To me, I'm getting this as the energy when we think about Pisces energy of addiction, alcoholism, and the choices we make around that. When you think about addictive energies, and let me just go there real quick, that are traumatizing to yourself, when you do, see here, it's in the unconscious, subconscious, because we're in that Pisces energy now. So we go down deeper, and the conscious mind is only a small portion. Then we have this depth of like massive subconscious, unconscious realm. And when you're drinking or when you're doing things that are unhealthy for your body, eating the Twinkies or whatever, right? Fill in the blank, whatever it is, you are causing harm to yourself. Your subconscious, unconscious, and considering our connection to all that is, does not know the difference between you harming yourself and others. So making choices that are detrimental to yourself automatically harm others as well. And that is something that everyone should really be aware of. You may think, oh, it's not their problem. They're not putting it in their body, but it's the energy you're giving off. It's how you're impacting the reality field. And are you making choices that are giving a feast of toxicity and depression, or are you making choices aligned with your light, with evolution, with productivity, with moving the planet forward? And this is a question, and maybe an existential question, that all of us should be asking ourselves with all the different choices we're making, with how we're spending our time each day, with how we're taking care or not taking care of our bodies, with what we're putting in. Garbage in, garbage out, beauty in, beauty out. You make the choice. So we're kind of seeing that polarity here in this card. Pisces season has a tendency to let us know, what you put in is what goes out as well energetically. So it's so important to know that. And it's so important to take accountability and responsibility for that. Otherwise, you will be facing those consequences at some point. Very interesting. So what are we serving up, right, in our energies? What are we tolerating in our environments? For some of you, it's like, well, I feel like I'm pretty aligned. I got a good, healthy cycle going, and I'm not drinking or whatever. I'm not doing any of that. But are you tolerating it in your environment? Do you not have boundaries around people who might be doing that and invading your space that way, right? Because believe me, they will invade your space. Toxic people will invade your space and they will suck the energy right out of you. So are you allowing that as something else? Are you setting boundaries and making healthy choices for yourself as far as who you surround yourself with? Also very important to reflect upon. Now, I got the little inner child vibe earlier, so I pulled out these Renegade Mama cards that I got for my kids. And the messages are very geared toward youngsters here. So imagine or embody for a moment your inner child. And we'll see what message the inner child would like to share today. Oh, it looks like we've got both. We've got a beautiful, sweet little message of forgiveness and ownership, but both. It says here, it's easy for me to say sorry when necessary, okay? And I'm not big on saying sorry just to say sorry, okay? So when you make an apology, make it count. Everyone makes mistakes. So this is kind of the inner child way of working with that energy of forgiveness, which we talked about. I have shared Karen's Substack on freedom and forgiveness, which is a beautiful read. Make sure you check that out. It's linked in the last Frequency Friday. It's easy for me to say sorry when necessary. Everyone makes mistakes. So also speaking to the inner child saying, hey, let's forgive ourselves. Another important thing coming from the inner child energy, because we got two cards here, bedtime, okay? And this is very good because I'm talking about that subconscious, unconscious, massive part of our consciousness that unlocks when we're sleeping. Bedtime is an opportunity to have personal quiet time. I focus on slow, deep breathing to relax my body and my mind. Isn't that sweet? Look at that. This goes for adults too. Absolutely. Bedtime is such an important time to wind ourselves down. So Are you sitting on your phone and scrolling to the very last moment till you're just too exhausted to keep your eyes open? Or are you closing your eyes, maybe listening to some beautiful music, coming into your breath, actually embodying, actually bringing into your body? Because I know a lot of you out there, not everyone, but some people are convinced they can't fall asleep without the distractions. And they've trained themselves to fall asleep with distraction. Instead of working with their natural circadian rhythm and really sinking into that. So, what are you doing every night before bed? Karen says, I often say, don't be sorry, be better. Ah, right? You should never be sorry. You can feel regret and you can work toward reconciliation, but to attempt to be sorry is pretty sorry behavior. I love it. Yeah. So maybe reframing that a little, because it is important. You know, I was raised with a mother who constantly said sorry for everything, and she still does. Things that absolutely she has no responsibility for, right? Over, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry. And it's just like, stop, pattern interrupt. You don't need to apologize for things that you didn't create, that you didn't do. But if she would stop and say, wow, you know, I resonate with that feeling, it makes me feel regret, right? We don't often take the time to go deeper. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Parents insisted, say you are sorry. When siblings are doing something. I don't say sorry, that word very much. I usually use the word apologize. But I also talk to my children about, where are you at right now? Like, do you feel like you can authentically apologize? Like, do you really feel that in your mind, body, and soul? Or are you just doing it because you know, have been told to do that? And really kind of take the conversation a little deeper. Kids are actually very, very wise in that way, and they can oftentimes take that next step of reflection at the proper age. This may be more for the younger ones, because it is hard to have that deeper conversation with the kids until they're a little bit older. But how many of us were taught, just say sorry, just say sorry. And maybe we said it when we didn't mean it a lot. Maybe we said it just because we were told to and didn't really understand, and then it just becomes a habit. Yes, when it's a performance for others, it's a disempowering phrase, right? You know, and yeah, and it's kind of like learning manners too, like please and thank you, right? Or forcing a kid to give someone a hug when they may not want to hug that person, right? Like, oh, hug grandma, or you know, maybe they maybe they don't want, you know, that. And so it's kind of like reframing some of those things that some of us might have learned when we were youngsters. And very interesting that those kinds of messages and the conversation has come up in alignment with our path forward. Maybe some of us are a little held back with that, or still releasing some of those performance expectations, that we might be carrying some of that. You know, I kind of review that a lot in my own mind, because I do like a good performance, and I have been on stage, and I, you know, used to be in swing choir and stuff like that, and I like to dress up, and I was in musicals and stuff, and I absolutely love that aspect and that performance angle. But I think it's kind of knowing your environment and knowing there's a time and a place for that, right? In real life, let's get down to earth. Let's get down into the dirt. Let's get into the real business, right? Karen says it's always a disempowering phrase when we can be better or say, I can be or will strive to be better. When we say, I regret something without making it into an I am statement. Ah, yes. Thank you, John. Yes. I've never done one of those get ready with me videos to show how I do my makeup. I tend to like a little bit more natural look, but I do wear makeup to kind of smooth things out. But I try to go with things that are, not so crazy. Personally. Yes, I'm bad about saying sorry too. I don't know why it's such a reflex. I think sometimes it's the quick and easy way too. Like when someone is sharing something and maybe they're sharing something with you, like if somebody's sharing something with me and I've hurt them or I've misunderstood them, my reflex just wants to like apologize right away rather than really, really try to listen to what they're saying and respond differently. Like maybe respond with, wow, I'm feeling what you're saying and I am working with the energies of trying to understand how my mistake or my decision affected you. I mean, we could really take conversations a lot deeper, couldn't we? If we spent the time to like try to find different words. And even as I'm talking, it's like we're so programmed, it's hard to find those different words and different approaches. Karen says, yes, I do say it reflexively, but it's something I strive to gain more consciousness of what I really want to say. Yes, because it's the surface is the sorry, right? It's kind of like a surface. It's like a little Band-Aid. It doesn't really address the root typically. Tressa says, my mom is an only child, mine too, and didn't teach us to say sorry. I married into a family where sorry is said frequently. So you had a different experience. You had a different experience where you probably were sideswiped by your in-laws family who was maybe expecting that from you or out of you or, you to fall in line with that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Because, and you have to look at it and say, okay, did your mom do that because that's just something that's passed down in the ancestry? To me it seems like both extremes hold a level of avoidance there. You can either shut down and say nothing, or you can say like a quick thing, or you can try to deepen and come somewhere in the middle and begin to find different words that are really going to like acknowledge. So both could be, both extremes of like saying sorry all the time or never saying it, never acknowledging, just, well, I don't know, being an ostrich, sticking your head in the sand, right? Those could both be harmful patterns picked up as children where we don't go deeper. And I think to some degree, this is where I really, really love the Native American storytelling. They took time to sit down historically, tribally, and have stories. And the stories were with the tribe, and the stories were father to son, mother to daughter, and in the stories take it into a deeper conversation, the spoken word, the dialogue, right? And I have always loved that. That's how they preserved the knowledge of their culture and the teachings and the wisdom. And that's a lost art, in my opinion, in our current world, because now everybody talks to AI, right? Or Gemini. Let me ask Gemini on that, right? So are we sometimes taking shortcuts and moving into those, either shut down or overperform extremes and not really coming in the middle? I mean, it takes a lot of reflection in our busy times and our busy day lives to be able to catch those moments I know those of you that are moms, we probably get more opportunities of that because we're navigating children or siblings and their experiences with friends and each other and the world. But it can also just be something you notice in your day-to-day life, with whether you're dealing with children or not. Very interesting. That keeps coming up, doesn't it? The forgiveness and freedom and apologies, and very interesting that's coming up. That might have to be something we go deeper into because it keeps arising. And I wish I had all the answers. I don't. I will definitely say when I don't have the perfect answer for it, because I too am shedding my own reactions and responses to that, of what I was programmed and trained, you know? And sometimes it's like you're unlearning what not to do, and then you have to learn what to do, and you don't know what that is yet. But the creators community, what's beautiful about the creators and the people who gravitate to this kind of work is you're willing to reflect on it. You're willing to digest it. You're willing to maybe try something different, right? Maybe create a new opportunity for yourself. And that's what it's all about. Okay. Wow. Okay. Tingles. I just got the tingles. I feel like the oracle reading is complete. We have quite a bit to reflect on there. We talked about power. We talked about peace and creation and root and forgiveness and choices and consequences. Wow. You know, and I'm really not surprised because this dance between Pisces and Aries season here that we're entering into now, feeling the energies of both and having these transits, when destiny portals come to us, like this Mars in the North Node, being in Pisces, it's really going to kind of be like, well, let me give you the whole kit and caboodle. Let me swirl it all together for you here. And I kind of feel like that's what's happened. I'm not sure I really expected that, but that's what's beautiful about really surrendering into trusting the universe to bring forward the messages that will mean the most, right? Because it's not about what Stephanie thinks it's going to be like. It's about the collective and the community, and it's what the community needs to experience. So I hope with that oracle reading, everybody got a little something that they can take away and work with. Let's talk about the tarot breakout readings today. We're going to go into Pi Day. So Pi Day is tomorrow, the 3.14157. I know people have memorized it. I'm not one of the people who has it memorized. I learn really good by repetition, but it was one of those things that I never got ingrained in me when I was younger. Math, I have this really interesting relationship with math. I don't know about you guys, but let me know. Like, I'm more of like, I love numbers, but I just could never gravitate with the way that math is traditionally taught. I really love to actually build like a relationship with each number and the vibrational frequency of the number. And I'm definitely not a mathematician at all. I can get by, I can do things. I mean, I passed, I got B's at least in my math classes and stuff, but there's just so much more to it that I really enjoy building it into our readings, the numerology and learning more and more about that. So we're going to do a 314 infinity spread today, because pi is kind of that infinite number, and it's like, how do we bring the beauty of infinity and all of these energies into the physical world? So these breakout readings are really intended to help us bridge our physical world to the soul journey. So it's very much that Pisces energy of the connecting with the soul journey and dreams into reality, and the Aries energy of, okay, we got to ground it. We got to act on it. We got to make it manifest in the physical reality. So this is where we're going to be taking things, okay, today in our breakout readings. So we're going to start with the number 3. We're going to go to the 3, the 1, and then the 4. And the 3 is the house of the mind. I'm just going to kind of give you high level here, and then we'll talk about each one as we get deeper into them. The second reading will represent the first house of identity. And then the third reading will be the fourth house of foundation. So the mind, identity, and foundation, really, really interesting concepts. And so we're going to take each one a little deeper as we get in. And let's start with our breakout reading number 1, the 3. Okay, so just like settling in and like, what's your relationship to the number 3? Like, I have a birthday on the 3rd, so the number 3 has been a big part of my life. There's that little song that's like 3, it's a magic number, you know, it was from Sesame Street or one of those, you know, one of those things from when we were little. A man and a woman had a little baby, and then there were 3, you know. And then sometimes in tarot, when I'm reading, the 3 can represent like a third party, like the dynamic of partnerships interfered with or interrupted or influenced by a third party. But this third energy, the 3 energy, is connected. We're going to connect it in with the astrology house, the 3rd house. So does anybody know what sign the 3rd house is connected to? Drum roll, drum roll. Because I know there's a delay on the video, but it's Gemini. So those of you might put it in the chat. I'll know that you knew, because the video can be a little bit delayed. So we're going to look into Gemini energies with this number 3. And we're asking the question, when I pull the cards, we're asking the question, what brilliant, because you all have a brilliance, what brilliant idea or fated conversation is trying to break through the Mercury retrograde fog? Mercury is connected to the mind. So here we are, we've got Pi Day tomorrow. We've got the number 3 involved. We've got the 3rd house energy of the mind, which is connected to Gemini, which is connected to the planet Mercury. Okay. And this is, we're going to really work to see. Well, let me first rewind here. Mind. Okay. The 3rd house is about mind, thoughts. All right. Communication. Communication is another big part of things. Can represent social activities, Gemini being the social, like party, celebrate sign. Neighbors, how we relate to neighbors, and how we relate to siblings. Okay, so all of those are fair game for our reading today. The mind, thoughts, communication, siblings, social activities, and neighbors. Be thinking about those things. Maybe one stands out to you there. Maybe there's an idea that is trying to break through for you through this Mercury retrograde fog and the Pisces illusion season, right? Maybe there's a conversation, maybe there's a communication that needs to come through. So we're going to pull a few tarot cards and then maybe some oracle cards too. I haven't decided yet. Maybe we'll treat each tarot message to an extra oracle message, but I'm just using the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck today. All right. Ooh, and that's what I'll be using for my archetype breakout series that starts next Wednesday. I think you're really going to like those. Those are going to be bite size. We're talking about, and it's really like challenging me, but I'm making them 10 minutes and less. Okay. So it's going to be where you can really get a real juicy connection with these archetypes in 10 minutes or less. That's my challenge to myself. So that starts next week, but yeah, let's see what archetypes want to come through here and help us with our ideas or our communications and conversations. So maybe one or the other stands out for you. I'm got to shake my head at the first card that came out there. It gets better, though. It gets better. Okay, I pulled 3 cards. They're all fire connected, all fire energies, which is interesting because we're in Gemini. And when I think about air and fire, I think about spark. I think about oxygen going to the fire. And for some, the first card is what me as a reader, the 9 of Wands, I interpret as an ancestor card, okay? So I'm gonna say this is for anyone dealing with siblings and possibly even neighbors here, okay? And look at this cautious energy. For those of us that have siblings, or maybe for those of us who are only children but have encountered a friend or a cousin that feels like a sibling in our lifetime, this is the people I'm talking about. These are the energies I'm talking about. So those are kind of coming to the forefront with this third house energy, siblings and neighbors here. And there's a cautious energy in the Nine of Wands. Why? Because this, and it may not even be explainable by you consciously. The Nine of Wands can bring in that ancestral memory and the willingness to want to transform that. But y'all know when a big ancestral pattern lands on your shoulders, oh, it's heavy. It hurts. Like, it's hard. It's a lot. Okay. And so some of you may be up against that. Like, you want to transform, or you're in the midst of transforming something, but you're very cautious because when you try to share it with a sibling, or maybe having an issue with a neighbor, it's like it's adding insult to injury. You cannot make the progress. It hurts like you've been burnt before, right? With that fire energy. It feels very limiting to me. But since we're dealing with Wands energy and the character here has a grasp on a wand, that means they have the ability to own that transformation, to own being the one that's resolving that ancestral pattern. Okay, there's been a lot that has come before. They're standing in front of what has come before them. They're taking one of the wands. You don't got to take them all, because that'll be the 10 of Wands card. Like, what comes after this is like, some people make the mistake. They just try to take the whole thing and carry it, and they add a wand. It's like, and then it's just too much to bear. This is taking it one step at a time, one issue at a time, one conversation at a time. And it's having the courage to do that, even though you've been burnt or hurt before when you've tried to address or move forward in these energies. So we've got the Nine of Wands, that ancestral. Maybe some of you, when you have siblings, and, I pretty much everyone I've encountered who has siblings, there will be, and it depends how many there are, but usually there's one, maybe more, maybe two, that are very aware of like the patterns and they see through it. And then there'll be a sibling that's just completely goes along with the ancestral toxicity of the past. They just absolutely just keep following that. And of course, there's everything in between, but I do see that quite a bit in clients that come to me in families. They will have, oh, I'm really close to this brother because we have these types of conversations, but my other brother over there, I can't talk to him about anything. He just goes right along with what my parents did and my grandparents before that, and they doesn't even get why that's a problem, right? So this is some of the energy that's coming up. So some of you may be able to apply this in your personal life. The challenge is being acknowledged here. The challenge and the pain of that, okay, is being acknowledged, because it can be painful, because when you're going through resolving these ancestral patterns, it's heavy, and you wish you had an ally in that, right? You want an ally. You want someone else in your family to see what you see. And when you don't have that, it can be really, really tricky, because it just kind of feels like it's all on you, and you're like, why? And you do know why deep down. Your soul knows why. It's because you have the courage and the strength and the resilience and the power, right? That powerful tiger, to be able to tame and break through those energies and bring peace to your bloodline. which is so important. It's such important work. We oftentimes really get focused on how hard it is to overcome those ancestral traumas and pains. And at the same time, it is some of the deepest, most profound, most transformational work you could ever do for yourself, for your family, and for the world. Because as long as families are dysfunctional, it's going to be hard to find that peace in the world, right? So if you find yourself being the one, and many of you are the one where the ancestral curses, karma, patterns, the toxic patterns have stopped with you, and you're holding that shield, you know, and you have to do all the internal work while you try to block all that, because many of you are still parts of families where that's coming in. Some of you experience it with your in-laws as well, with your in-laws, or you see things in your partner's family, right? And you're kind of, you have to deal with it that way too. So you've got it coming in from a lot of directions. We're moving into, though, more of that beautiful fire horse energy, more of that wisdom embodied kind of energy. So I do think we're going to have a breakthrough. I think the chance of us being able to break through this and definitely have some ease in the mental space is really coming about because we've got the Knight of Wands. And wow, this, you know, coming from here, kind of feeling cautious and maybe a little bit trapped in that energy, to have a breakthrough into the Knight of Wands and that fire horse energy this year is really powerful. So some of you are getting that boost. And maybe it is a bit of the Mars energy coming in. Maybe it is that jockey spurring the horse, like I read from the Sabian symbols and saying, you know, it's giddy up and go time here. And we're going to overcome some of those mental blocks, and we're going to have the conversations we need to have, or we're going to move forward on our own paths with these boundaries in place that we need with the people who would otherwise try to hold us back. I really feel like I'm looking at this knight and how he's dressed, and I'm really getting like a family shield or a family crest kind of energy here as well. So some of you are like reclaiming the strength of your ancestral line. You're reclaiming the meaning, the purpose, the beauty. I think this is a really, you know, and I always look at the tarot cards, and I've been looking at them for a long time, and I always see new things or things that will stand out in one reading as opposed to the next. And look back here. We have pyramids. That looks awful lot like the Egyptian pyramids, like simplistic design of the pyramids. Okay, so our Gemini energy may be coming through with memories for some of us. So for some of you, it may be ancestral, siblings, neighbors, cousins, all of that. For others of you, you may be feeling it on some sort of deeper past life, past incarnation feel. All right. So we've got the pyramids in the background acknowledging that. Michelle's here, and Michelle's a Gemini. Yes. And so this reading is resonating with the vibration of Gemini. And it's very interesting because a lot of fire energy has come up with the Nine of Wands and the Knight of Wands. But we do have a progression here, which I really like. The horse and the knight are overcoming the past. They're overcoming those energies, those karmic energies here. They're moving forward. They're carrying their bloodlines forward. Very beautiful energy. And with it being Gemini energy and being mental, it feels good because I feel like the blocking thoughts are dissolving away. There may be still some cautious energies. There may be some muscle memory in the body that, you know, responds a certain way to some of these ancestral and past life patterns that we're resolving. And at the same time, we get the reprieve. We're overcoming it. Here we have kind of a desperate grasp on the wand. Here, the knight is very confident, holding the wand in one hand and the reins of the horse on the other. Like in our oracle message, she was holding the reins of the tiger. She is empowered and controlling that power, the power of transformation, the power of resolution. So this is nice because the Gemini energy connected to the third house, connected to the 3 for Pi Day here, it's opening up something. It's opening up. And I feel a very dimensional feel as I'm talking, like we're opening from 3 dimensions to 4 dimensions to 5 dimensions to 6, it's kind of that unfolding. And I don't even know, to be honest with you, I don't know what that means. I'm still going through the experience of working with the multidimensional energies. And it can be hard to put a finger on because our day-to-day is all in this 3D reality. But we also have a great amount of power here to influence the reality field. Not the effects field as what's already showing to us based on the cumulative effects of society, but on what we're creating for the reality field. And it's looking really good. This feels good. This feels good. I'm thinking. In the sidereal astrology, Vedic astrology, check that out. Check out where you might have your Gemini energies. I've recently done this, and I'm one of those people that when you look at my tropical Western, my Sun and Saturn are in Cancer. But when you look at my sidereal, boom, they move to Gemini. And there is some very powerful energy going on right now in those areas. So check your own chart, and maybe if you're able, you can do this on astro.com. You can pull your sidereal chart as well, and even your transiting chart, and you can see what's going on in Gemini or in your third house. Okay, so maybe some of you might take a little look at that and find something interesting if you go digging. But it feels good. Here's our fire horse again in pure white. A return to innocence, bringing back the beauty, the peace, the innocence of your ancestry, of your relationships to your ancestry, brightening that. Because there's always, in everybody's bloodline, there's always toxicity and there's always gifts. So we have to heal the toxicity and embrace the gifts. Karen says her Gemini energy is in the office down the hall. So you have your office space. That's where you connect with that energy. It's kind of reminding me too, I've been, because some of you know I used to read the Akashic Records. And I stepped away from reading the Akashic Records. So when I think of like office down the hall, I think of the Hall of Records. I think of like the temple halls and scrolls and like ancient wisdom. And lately I've been kind of coming back around to it. I stepped away from it because I didn't really feel, what's the word? I didn't feel comfortable with the access process that I was using. And I wanted to establish it more directly from within myself. I do think the process worked, but I feel like it was only a certain perspective or a certain aspect of the records that I was getting access to. And I wanted to find the bigger, the brighter, the all-encompassing access point from within myself. And that's been coming back around. So that's always like something that's on my shelf of spiritual and soul level tools, and I pull it down and work with it sometimes. But before I would ever bring it to the public, I need to grow it and mature it within myself. That's just something that I feel. more comfortable doing. You're Gemini. Oh, I get it now, Karen. Yes, because Aaron the Gemini. That went right over my head. But I guess I was supposed to talk about the hull, the hulls of the records. Yes, your Gemini energy. So it's related to in your partner. Beautiful. My father was a Gemini. So I remember, very clearly his Gemini energy. And some of it was very characteristically Gemini, right? Geminis get a bad rap sometimes, but I do think it's at times it's because people don't understand them, because they're the sign that can like really embrace and display the extremes, the opposites, the ends. They just deal with polarity very well. And they're very mental, very mentally focused. So, but to me, this being connected to the third house energy, it's honestly looking very bright. It's looking very good. So whether it's your own Gemini energy, or you're relating to it in your partner or someone around you, or their memory, in the case of my father, it's just really feeling whole and complete with that, really feeling good, really understanding how that third house energy might be complementing your life. And if it's not in your own chart, it could be in your partner's. I really like how the one way you can look at oppositions in your own chart, if you're in a partnership, is that if there is an opposition, you could see something, whatever's going on that's opposing what your energy is, it could be something going on for your partner. So like if there's an opposition that is like you can't grasp onto, but it's like across your chart, in another house, like let's say it's like Taurus or something. Your partner could be really experiencing growth in that area. So they could be expanding, their money, their resources, their finance. So it's very interesting. The more I study astrology, the deeper and deeper it gets. And there's so many angles and ways to look at it that can be beneficial. What I recommend, because it can be very overwhelming, is just find what works for you. You might like to just study tropical Western. You might like the sidereal Vedic. You might like evolutionary astrology. Or if you're like me, you like them all and you want to know them all, because I have a Scorpio, Saggy cusp, North node. And so I want to know all of it. But you will make the connections you need to make. Just take it piece by piece. Getting interested in it. I want to pull an oracle card to close off this, but I don't think I have it in the decks here. So we got to go to the tarot tower back here, the tarot and oracle tower. I like what I'm seeing here. So we're going to go to the super attractor message. What else? No. I think we're going to go to the cosmic energy. So to close out number 3 here, third house energy, the energy of the mind, let's get an energy, let's get a cosmic energy card to help us summarize kind of and put perspective on. Ooh, I like this because I felt this with the 9 of Wands. We got release the past burdens and embrace the new beginnings. Because the new beginnings, they're moving forward with this Knight of Wands, and it's looking very bright, especially for the mind. For the mind. I'm thinking too, this is coming to mind, Maya Angelou's book, When the Cage Bird Sings, I think it's called. I don't know why that's coming up. Maybe some of you are readers, or When the Cage Bird Sings. Here we have the birds being released. We have the doves being released here. Some of you are releasing some of those mental tethers stemming from your ancestry, stemming from your past. Good work. That's good. When I was going into this week's messages, I was like, I feel like the energy always comes up of like, oh, release, release, you know, and full moons we're releasing and we're releasing, we're releasing, we're releasing. And it's like, where's the inspiration? I want the inspiration. But to be inspired properly, we have to accept also that release takes place. So, you know, I kind of use that as a personal lesson to myself that maybe, hey, there's something I'm holding on to that I don't want to release because I have resistance to releasing or talking about releasing. So it's actually really nice it's come up here. Oh, I love that interpretation as well. If you love someone, set them free. Absolutely. Beautiful. We're going to go to the Super Attractor Oracle and grab a card here. And this card says, I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. I am patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. And I love this message, especially for those of us who we thought we knew where our purpose was and we were moving toward it, and we're redesigning that. We're analyzing that. We're maybe shifting gears, because the energy of being patient is such a loving energy. It allows things to be birthed in their natural cycles with their natural timing. And coming up in a Gemini reading, when we're talking about the mind and the mental energies and communication, that can be really helpful because it reminds us, you know, that we don't have to force. Our minds might make us think we have to do something a certain way, but the soul, the heart soul essence is in alignment with the patience and with the release and letting these things happen, letting the process be what it is. I could force myself to read the Akashic records and to do that because, oh, maybe, you know, I think that might be a popular thing or something, but that really wouldn't be in alignment with how I truly feel. So, you know, each of us will have our own individual experiences with whatever that is for us as we look at our purpose. And if I just stayed focused trying to force my, you know, journey with the Akashic records rather than letting it unfold naturally, I wouldn't have begun to explore astrotarology and found so much excitement and passion for blending astrology and tarot together and bringing the best of two worlds together. And I honestly think this is what we do as humans, evolutionarily speaking. I think we bring different arts and sciences together and we begin to see how they all connect. For me, I studied science in college, so it was like chemistry, biology, physics, and then you learn biochemistry and quantum physics, and then you start to put them all, and they all start to bring out the best of one another and blend together. I mean, eventually, we're going to evolve these arts and sciences, and this is my little way, my little connection to evolving through the arts of astrology and tarot. And you know what? The Akashic records, if they're meant to come back out and around, they will. But it's important for me to have my personal relationship with that first and be patient with the timing. I'm just sharing a personal story. You will have your own, and you're welcome to share in the chat if something comes up for you. We're going to move on to our second breakout tarot reading today. This is representative of the number 1. Okay, number 1 is connected to the first house energy, which is the first house of identity, which is the sign of, anybody know that first house energy? We're getting ready to change into that season. Drum roll. Aries. It's Aries energy. So self, the identity. Also, you know, John or someone dropped by and was asking about makeup. It's about your appearance, the body, your approach to life, and of course, first house energy is about new beginnings. So the question we're going to ask today, since Mars is conjunct this North Node, how is Mars conjunct the North Node asking us to step into bold, decisive action and claim our sovereign identity, okay? A lot of you have shared with me lately that you feel like your identities have changed. Not that you've lost the core factors and characteristics of what make you individually you, but that your perception and your relationship to who you are, to your path and where you want to go is changing. And so when we talk about identity, that is how it is. And for some of you, that's affecting you on a very personal, private level. For others, it's going to be public. All right. And holding all these energies, whoa, these cards are like, beep, coming out. They're like, we want to come out. You must pick us. Okay. These energies, whether personal or public, are here to teach us. So this one energy, the identity in the Aries season. Now, Aries first house energy can kind of have that bulldozing kind of effect. And it can kind of be a little painful if you're not ready for it, right? And that is why we look at astrology and we use the tarot archetypes to kind of help us. This reading puts us in a position to grow into the heart space through our pain, our difficulties, our pain points. That is being acknowledged right here and right now with these challenges. We do have a little bit of fire energy, but interestingly in this reading, we have both air and water energy as well. So we have air, water, and fire. And each element is a little bit different part of the lesson here that I think we're supposed to learn. And I do feel like Aries and that first house energy may come along with some lessons in order for us to claim who we truly are and to really step into that. We've talked a lot today about the things we need to reanalyze and look at differently, like apologies, like saying sorry, right? Like our habits, our what we're putting in our bodies, things like that. So this reading is acknowledging, first of all, our pain and where we need to heal, where our pain points are. And here we're looking at a pierced heart on a stormy, rainy day, the Three of Swords. This, to me, is the pain body card. All right. Now, this can be on a varying scale. Some of you could be feeling this even to the extent of your physical body. For some of you, this is a mental pain point. For others of you, you're feeling a very heavy emotion with those rain clouds, right? So this pain body can be expressed to us in different ways. So I want you each as individuals, use your own intuition to lead you toward where you might be experiencing that. Because if you are experiencing it emotionally, then that's what you want to tap into working on and having a little bit of emotional release. If it's something in your physical body, it could be something that you bring on a new habit, you do some stretching, you drink more water, okay, to help resolve this pain body. And to me, it feels like the energy that keeps you from being who you are, who you truly are. Maybe it is a program from the past. We're talking about something that has wounded your heart core essence here. All right, so some of you may be feeling it multiple ways. Some of you may actually be having like heart palpitations, preventricular contractions, something like that, noticing that heart flutters. I'm also feeling and sensing like you could feel muscle spasms in the subscapular region right back here or in the ribs. Have you ever had a muscle spasm in one of those muscles? Ooh. I mean, you kind of get worried for a moment because it feels like, oh, something happening? Like, what's going on? And it can take a minute for that muscle spasm to relieve. So some of you, you'll know. I mean, if you're feeling it in your body, if the pain is being expressed there, you'll know it. For some of you, it's emotional. For some of you, it may just be a mental program of some kind that needs to be released, that's hindering your ability to truly step into who you are. And we move from that, okay? So that's kind of heavy. And I feel like every time I do breakout readings, there's always one reading that was a little heavier. Last week, it was like the Pisces one. The Pisces season energy question was like pretty heavy. This time it's this one. And it may be because we haven't quite turned the page into Aries season. We're kind of in that Pisces, and Pisces is like, wait, before you move forward, like, let's really look at this. We've got some challenge here too. Transformational challenge though. Can we show up? Can we try to put these puzzle pieces together for ourselves? Even if they're challenging, maybe some of these deal with other people. Look, this is a group of individuals all coming with a wand, trying to create something, trying to put something together. And it looks to be, at first here, at least at this view of the card, a bit of a mess. Maybe this is representative of different aspects of yourself going through powerful change, because the Five of Wands here, 5 is a number of change. So this is acknowledging the change that you are undergoing to connect with your authentic identity, or this next phase of life for you. Like me, I've been moving from the mother energy, and I'm still a mom, yes, but I've been moving, going through perimenopause, brings me into the crone energy. That's a different identity. I'm a different woman now than I was before. Ask Jason, he knows. My kids know, everybody sees it who's close to me. They're like, oh yeah, mom's going through it. You have a different identity. It can be a bit challenging for yourself, for the people around you, right? Your energy changes, your outlook changes. You have less fucks to give, usually, right? That can come off differently to the people that are around you, that are closest to you. And it's not that you don't care about them. It's just that there's certain things you're letting go of, and it can be quite challenging, And the Five of Wands indicates that the answers are there, but they haven't all come together yet. I'm getting very scratchy here. This one's hit me personally. Let's get some nice big drinks of water in there. Okay. And so how is Mars conjunct this North Node? Well, here we have two difficult things. We've got a pain body and the challenge of like becoming the new versions of ourselves. How's it asking us to step into bold action? It's asking us to take all of this into our heart. And we've got the Page of Cups. And I can feel it. I can feel the heart energy wanting to kind of break through the static, break through the challenge, break through the healing. The Page of Cups, this card has been coming up. It's come up for some clients lately. It's come up. It's starting to show up. A beautiful energy to come up during Pisces season. I mean, he's observing the fish in the cup. Some of these deeper 12th house energies. Can we go through this ending, this 12th house energy, into our first house energy with love, from a place of love, from a place of loving the depth and the journey? Can we actually reach even this concept of neutrality, where we're not triggered by our old self anymore? We love that old version of us and all of the lessons we learned, pain and challenges and all. And can we connect with ourselves and with our actions from the heart? Can we connect in that tiger energy, the very first card we got today, the powerful tiger, the will force energy, to our heart, to our hearts being activated? And that's what's coming up in this first house. And some of you may feel like, oh crap, like this whole thing is very visible. It's very visible to people. Like, I'm feeling seen here. I'm feeling revealed. Oh my goodness. And so that's these messages that are coming from this first house energy, from the number 1 in our pi number 3.14. Laquanza Freeman says, what's going on? So much is going on. But we are in the second of 3 breakout tarot readings right now. This one is, we are reflecting on the energies of the first house connected to the sign of Aries. And we're doing 3.14 because tomorrow is Pi Day. And we're blending that with the Mars energy that is conjunct the North Node today, this evening as we speak, which pushes us toward our destiny. And sometimes it pushes us beyond the pain, right? And beyond the challenge into our hearts. So that is, in a nutshell, what is going on. But oh so much. The replay will be up for everyone after the live is over today as well, if you want to catch the beginning part. All right, we're going to get a few oracle cards to close off this reading here. And I'm hungry. All of a sudden, I'm like really hungry. It's very interesting because being in the phase of life I'm in, I usually fast until maybe sometimes even 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then I'll have like a big protein meal. But right now, I'm really hungry. That could be the energies going on. Maybe I'm hungry to really connect in with these maybe some heart energies. Maybe some of you are hungry or you're in the middle of thinking about getting something to eat. From our Cosmic Energy Oracle, long to do with this reading. And I like this because it comes through and it kind of gives me the feeling of like, trust the universe here. Miracles are everywhere. Keep the faith. There it is. And we've got some beautiful like constellation type firework type plant type energy here, all kind of coming together, reaching out and connecting. And this to me is a card that represents letting the universe come through for you a bit, okay? So yes, you're going to take ownership of dealing with the pain. Yes, you're acknowledging the challenge and you're looking at these evolving versions of yourself and you're putting your heart to it. Once you do that, once you put your heart focus on that and you're looking at it from the perspective of the heart, the miracles can come in from the universe. So this is about opening up. Look, the arms, the fronds of this plant, they're opening up. The universe is coming down to meet. This is receiving. You know, I haven't talked about it today, but in my Astrotarology episode, it was all about Jupiter, like a really strong focus on Jupiter being direct. Jupiter is now direct. And this is the time where if we can open up from our beautiful, innocent heart spaces for these miracles, things are going to come through. Okay. I've been practicing this. And I got a letter from the one of our utility companies, and there's a back payment that was never cashed that is owed to me that is coming through now. It's those kinds of things. So opening up your arms or receiving the money you were meant to receive, reach into the universe and say, universe, bring it back to me now. Jupiter is direct. Bring it in. I'm open. You got to open yourself up to it though. You got to say, I'm ready to receive, and open up to receive, get comfortable receiving that. You deserve it. That's that Jupiter energy coming through. And that's when the miracles happen. And the money comes out of nowhere, or somebody does a favor for you, or somebody refers you to someone that really ends up helping you out, right? It's those kinds of things. Be open to it in all forms, not just money, but think about abundance as a whole. Got to open a heart to it, not just your mind. You want the mind on board, but once your heart is activated in that energy, that is the force. That is what will bring it through. When I truly surrender my desires to the universe, a mighty force of faith can set in. There it is. When I truly surrender my desires to the universe, a mighty force of faith can set in. Absolutely. And that's what brings it to us. This comes from the Super Attractor Oracle here. Yes. So maybe, Lakwanza, you stopped by to receive this beautiful message of open your arms to receive. Gifts are coming your way. You've been through the pain, you've been through the challenge, right? And you're opening up your heart, right? Okay. All right, let us move on to our third and final breakout reading of the day. For this one, we are looking at the number 4. This oftentimes, really interestingly, it does have a little connection back to Aries because it is 4 is the number of the Emperor, which is stability and foundation. And we're talking about foundation here. But the 4th house energy is connected to the sign of Cancer. So we have both the masculine and a more feminine energy coming here for us to look at. And 4th house energy, we're talking about your home, okay? Where you live, your home, your roots, your tribe. That came up for us with the root energy. So Mars is showing us that as well. Family, self-care. Cancer energy is big on self-care, emotions, acknowledging emotions, foundations, mother energies, children, and femininity. Okay, so the question that we're asking for this reading is, what infinite or even ancestral strength, the beautiful gifts of our ancestry, are we being called to anchor into as we move forward or journey in our destiny, on our destiny path, okay? So what infinite or ancestral strength are we being called to anchor or embody as we journey on our destiny path, right? And I say move toward, but it's like a journey. The whole thing is a journey. I think lately it's easy sometimes in society, the inversions in society really propagate to us that there's arrival points and your worth and value is tied into when you arrive or you achieve this, and it's like all these specifications and degrees and like levels and hierarchy, right? And it's all connected in with that. And it causes us sometimes to lose the focus on our journey, that this life and evolution and what we're going through is a journey. And us moving to our destiny is one great big giant journey. And it's infinite. The pi, the number pi, goes on forever and ever and ever. It's infinite. It just keeps going. It keeps moving in these different cycles. So let's see. What are we meant to know here? What are we meant to, and I'm getting 4 cards. I got 4 cards come out for this reading, and I'm just going to roll with it because I honor the energies that come through, okay? And I really like what I'm seeing. We're going to go first to acknowledge, and I kind of did this in the 3 reading, the first breakout reading that we did, but we're going to acknowledge some of the struggle here and the conflict. And this could also indicate that on and I'm going to say a minor level, because these are minor arcana cards, that some of us are still doing some clearing and releasing. We have the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is very much a card where, like, the battle has been fought. And we're sorting through the wins and the losses. Okay, the spoils. What are we going to take with us here? What's ours to take? What's ours to leave behind? Which you can see the character is considering these things as he is holding 2 swords with a hand on another, and 2 are laying on the ground. 5 pulls us into our edges. It's conflict. And when we think about our ancestral lines, our bloodlines, our blood codes, and what's been going on, there's probably been a battle, okay? I am pretty confident to say there's no one bloodline or one ancestry in this world that has it all figured out or that is all free and clear. of pain and challenge, right? I mean, there's just not, no matter how people think there might be, right? And those of you that are the creator beings, in order for you to be in this space of creativity, you've had to face this part of the path. You've had to be a part of the battle. So that's being acknowledged here. And maybe a little bit of that is being released here at the end of Pisces season. Another thing being released, which I like to see here, is the Eight of Swords. This is the self-imposed restrictions that we might place upon ourselves, the energy that makes us feel confused or stuck, or like we can't see a way through. Even though our hands are free, all we have to do is wiggle a little bit, take off the blindfold, unravel ourselves, and take a few steps forward. This is the kind of energy when you come out of this, it's important to acknowledge and celebrate. I've been talking about this a lot lately. Celebrate the baby steps you take. When you get clarity, celebrate it. When you're able to take a few steps closer and closer to your freedom, celebrate it. Don't wait for that big milestone before you celebrate, because remember, Jupiter wants us to have our arms open right now to receive beautiful gifts of abundance. We can't do that in this state here. Now, both of these two cards are cradled between two very powerful feminine energies. Number one, the Queen of Pentacles. She is a gentle soul who really embraces the earth energies, which are foundational. It's very interesting. The next card that I've got here is giving me more of the Cancerian vibe, whereas the Queen of Pentacles is reminding me of the earth signs of Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. But I really like that she's showing up here because she's very good at grounding energies, all right? She's very good at utilizing the earth, utilizing Mother Earth, Pachamama, as a great transformer, like our heart. She's able to give what no longer serves into the earth to be recycled, or into the galactic core to be recycled. It may look like a very static, calm image here, but this queen is actually moving a lot of energy. And I really, really like that she's come up for the foundational energies, because she will move the energy, but be grounded and connected the entire time. So working with her as an archetype, working to embody her, especially women here in your feminine energies, and grounding these in, connecting with nature. This is walking barefoot. This is getting outside. This is connecting with birds and animals and all of those beautiful things. And really celebrating that, bringing that into like a daily celebration for yourself. If you did your walk today, that's a celebration, right? I woke up, I put those little, like little collagen patches under my eyes. That's a celebration. That's an effort of self-care, right? It's even the smallest things. And when we take those little small actions, it kind of cancels out some of these trickier energies that we've had to deal with. All right. Now the Cancerian energies are showing up, and this is why the fourth card wanted to come out here with the Empress energies. Okay, the Empress kind of represents, like, when we take that hard shell off the Cancerian energy, she represents the beautiful, warm inside. She's got the little Venus pillow here. She's relaxing on cushions. This is mother energy. She's wearing a long flowy gown with her legs just gently spread. She may be pregnant with fertility, pregnant with ideas. And she's in nature. So again, nature is growing all around her. We're being called to anchor in this energy. I'm especially getting this message for women, but it could also just represent a man caring for the feminine energy. So if you are the masculine, it could represent your relationship to these energies. And are you honoring these energies? Whether it be the women in your life or just those yin energies, the softer energies within yourself when you need rest, when you need self-care, when you need to go on a walk, right? So we have a couple different perspectives here, but this is the Cancerian energy. She's, for some reason, that little rhyme tale of there was an old lady who lived in a shoe is kind of coming up. I see this empress like magnetizing children to her. They just sprout out of the ground and come to her. It's like she's like the ultimate like Sunday school director, I guess. I just feel like childlike energies. Maybe that's representing some of you are really like bringing your inner child, because that came up in the inner child has come up today, wanting that attention, bringing that inner child into your own love and care now that you're an adult. Maybe your mother or your parents weren't able to do that in the way, you didn't get nurtured or mothered the way you needed to. You're bringing that inner child back again for integration. You're making him or her feel safe. The Empress has the ability to do that. And I just kind of feel like she's got like the chocolate chip cookies and the milk, and all the kids are going to listen to her and be with her and be in this energy because they feel safe and nurtured and loved. And that's what it feels like to me here. So that is what we need to anchor here as we really move into or move forward on our journey here. That's what we're being anchored. So we have two very feminine energies that are being asked to be anchored right now. I'm very careful not to go to extremes when I talk about like the masculine and feminine energies, because I wholeheartedly believe that both and the balance between the masculine and feminine is absolutely where it's at. So I don't get into like the programs of like down with the patriarchy and blah, 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 and feminist movements and things like that. I don't engage in those labels because I think they can be pretty harsh and overpowering. And I think somewhere in the middle of all of it, like of patriarchy, matriarchy, is some beautiful blend. And that's where humanity is meant to grow, is destined to grow toward. And we can help that along by focusing on those energies in ourselves. Do we have a beautiful balance of receptive and active energies, or are we out of balance? I talked on the channel here about I was having a lot of injuries on the left side of my body, and my feminine energies were out of balance. Well, somehow during this fire horse year, now it's shifted to the right side. So I'm starting to tend to some of the masculine active energies, whether it be actions I take in relationships or toward my business. Okay, so think about what it is for you, because those reflections are asking to come up. Now let's find out what the cosmic energy connected to all this is here. And again, I'll just mention that if you're interested in astrology, you can get free charts on astro.com, and you can pull your natal chart there, and you can see what's in the third house, what's in the first house, what's in the fourth house. You can do that this weekend, go a little deeper into that for yourself. Maybe one of these readings stood out more than another, and maybe that's the house energy that you're going to be focusing on. You can see what's going on there. Ooh, love it. We got freedom. Freedom comes from inner liberation. And remember, I said we've removed that Cancerian shell of this fourth house energy. So we're in the ooey gooey, we're in the soft parts. Freedom comes from inner liberation, being able to be seen as ourselves, being able to be accepted, witnessed, honored as sensitive or compassionate, or, happy and joyful, of feeling that we have a warm home and hearth, right? That may be, yeah. Karen's here just painting. I love it, Karen. I love you. You may be, that's your active way to balance those energies out. You're painting something into being as you're hearing a message of freedom comes from inner liberation. And how cool is that to see that on a canvas, right? As you reflect on these energies within yourself. I love that. You know, if you're able to, these frequency Fridays are a great time to journal, reflect. I know some of you work and lurk because you got other things going on or you're doing dishes or something, but if you just make the little notes, if you just be present with yourself, even if during the readings you tune out and your mind and your body and your soul goes somewhere else, that's okay. You're meant to. These frequency Fridays are meant to inspire you where you need to go for your highest and best good. So find that and flow with it. And the last message we got from the Super Attractor Oracle for our final reading today is the universe is always conspiring to support me, guide me, and lead me compassionately toward the highest good. We have a brilliant red cardinal, so there's a sign for everybody to walk away and watch for your red cardinals. The universe is conspiring to support me, guide me, and lead me compassionately toward the highest good. Yes, beautiful. And in every card here in this final reading, these pops of red are standing out here. Red, red. It's not overpowering, but it's present. And it kind of brings me back to what we're anchoring into the root and to the beautiful active energy that Mars brings to this North Node, to our destiny points. So being in some sort of creative energy today, I think would be super duper helpful. Do keep in mind, everyone, that I will be back on Monday with the next Astrotarology. That's a little bit longer video. Put on your kettle, put on the tea. I am working to get those under an hour. Sometimes I struggle to do that because I'm just going with the energies, but they also have timestamps, which are really conveniently broken out for you. And then on Wednesday is going to be your new shorter one. It's going to be bite-sized. So it's kind of like a midweek bite of the archetypes. We're going to do Astrotarology, archetypes of the tarot. We're going to begin to connect the astrological energies in with the major arcana archetypes. It's really exciting. It's being born and birthed as we speak. And then I'm going to have a complimentary opportunity on my website. It's going to be a living vault where the extended versions of the archetype opportunities await. So keep your eyes open for that. Everything will be included in that video for you. It is being created as we speak. It's unfolding beautifully. I'll be back next Friday, and then a week from Sunday, I'll be doing the free personal mini readings on the 22nd of March. And that's from 7 to 8 p.m. Central. So if you'd like a free mini reading, come for that. Now, of course, if you really resonate and you'd like to make a donation or link up with me for a personal reading, you can find me on the social media platforms as well. And my email is included on the channel here, Stephanie@creatorsonthecrest.com. I'm also getting together things for new opportunities to join the newsletter. You can do that anytime you want on www.creatorsonthecrest.com as well. We'd love to have you there. Then that way you get updated on all the specials and the things that come out. I also have my blog is up on the website as well. So check that out if you have a chance. All right, everyone, say it with me now. Stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating. And have an amazing weekend. Bye.